I guess I should lay the context down for this game first. It is basically the Simcity series has been made by a company named Maxis who works for EA. Unfortunately, for this particular installment of Simcity, they axed Maxis and used a company called Tilted Mill. And of course, when a game changes developer, you can expect stuff to change. But this game changed so adversely from the standard SimCity genre. SimCity fans have branded this the worst SimCity ever. So let's have a look. Where does this game go wrong? I've literally put 24 hours into playing this game to work out what was good and what was bad, and there is going to be a little bit of bias here since I am a big SimCity fan. I've played all of them except the latest one, which I hope to do soon. So let's see where this game goes wrong. Is it the graphics that go wrong? Is it the gameplay that goes wrong? Is it the audio that goes wrong? Is it the story that messed up? Or is it just have no replay value? Let's go.
Graphics.
Overall, I quite like this game's graphics, but they are not without their issues and several problems are very noticeable. My biggest problem is the poorly rendered terrain. It looks like crap and the paint tools do nothing to it. The only terrain that actually looks remotely good is the asphalt and concrete, and the water interacts horribly when forming a shoreline. It just looks so messy. And also the town borders. This game picked the worst way to mark the city limits by having a line between badly rendered terrain and absolutely horrible, horrible terrain. It just looks stupid and awful, and would much rather this game use invisible walls that the camera crashes into than this abomination. The graphics do have good points though. They aren't glitchy, despite some buildings having a major pop-in text issue, but luckily this is only for a few buildings that it suffers badly from. Also, the buildings are quite detailed and they do look pretty nice. The interface looks very sleek and I really do like how it changes colour scheme depending on your city's theme. I also really like how buildings alter their features depending on the city theme, but I find in most times the changes aren't particularly noticeable unless you're playing your authoritarian or cyberpunk themes, and I do have to say the game hit those two themes 100% on target. They look amazing. It's just a shame all the other themes were rather mediocre. I also do like how the accommodation buildings have a different design assigned to one building, such as a different variants of tenements, but unfortunately some commercial buildings don't vary, resulting in a city full of identical office blocks.
Gameplay.
This is where the game fucks up. The gameplay is extremely repetitive and resembles SimCity in no way. And I'm paraphrasing here, so this review doesn't last 2 hours. Basically, you place a house, somewhere to work, somewhere for Sims to have fun, rinse and repeat, while occasionally throwing a power plant down. It's boring and it's difficult, even on easy. On top of that, the game tries to introduce society values, which are produced or consumed by buildings, and trying to keep these values in surplus is a nightmarish balancing act, and on top of that, the game also has special sims, the vast majority of which have the goal of ruining your city, and basically everything in this game is an annoyance. The cities tend to catch fire every day, and the fire services not only charges me extortionate amounts of money to be called out, but take 2 fucking hours to reach the blaze, which is literally next door to the fire station. The financial system is fucktarded. You pay maintenance on buildings every day, and pretty much all the time you won't be able to afford it. Buildings break down, and the city just fucks up even more. The sim AI is crap. All they seem to have is a death wish to be run over by cars when they're walking down streets, and they constantly complain and protest buildings, which bankrupts your city even more. Crime is always out of control no matter how many police stations you place, and even if you build one smog-producing building, global warming seems to instantly begin the apocalypse on your city. The expansion does introduce tourism, however, which makes financing your city a little easier. Just a shame it's very expensive to set up tourist spawning buildings, since this game eliminates region mode. And tourists are extremely picky and difficult to satisfy. Hell, even the disasters, one of the most fun parts of a SimCity game, suck. They're all boring. If there's anything this section has done right, it's the interface. It's simple and easy to use, and you don't have to memorise a bunch of confusing controls. All you need is your mouse, and the camera does work pretty nicely.
Sound.
This is something the game almost got right but didn't quite get there. Firstly, the ambient noise. What ambient noise? I'd give it a 0, but there is some. Most of which is being the sound of your local forest. There's no city noise, there's no chatting crowds, no traffic jams, nothing. You occasionally hear a car engine, but no, it doesn't work. The sound effects just saw the awful game that they were going to be in, and they just bolted. They just thought, no, we are not being in this piece of shit. The music, however, I like. Just a shame it seems to be glitched. Sometimes when loading a city, the music suddenly mutes itself, which makes a boring game even more boring. But when it is playing, I love it. The generic city music is very calming, which saves me from destroying the keyboard when my city catches fire for the 5th time in the space of 2 minutes. And the music when your city adopts a theme is quite nice. My favourite being the cyberpunk music. I kind of wish it was the only music in the game because it's just so great. And I do like most of the music, except the capitalist city music. I found it a little bit too in your face. I'm not going to go too much into how much I love Simlish, that's for another day, but the Sims have a lot to say when you select them, and I do like how special Sims have their own unique voices matching what they do, especially with Dr. Frankenstein Sim, who talks like a stereotypical mad scientist, and I quite like that. Just a shame, like I said, when you have a lot of Sims, you don't hear them all chatting away, and also when you build a romantic city, I swear you can hear Sims doing it.
Story.
Well, there isn't a story, but that's good. This is a game where you shouldn't try and force a story in. There is a scenario mode which takes you on a sort of story of some cities, but to be honest, after how bored and angry I was playing in the normal mode, I didn't even want to know. And the scenarios, the ones I did try, they're hard as hell. I do admit there is a sense of satisfaction when you earn a city's theme's trophy. That comes out of the fact that you don't have to play that city anymore. But sometimes I did feel a bond between myself and towns I particularly liked. Bonus points do go to the authoritarian city though, by creating not only a really cool 1984 style society with some amazing huge government buildings, but by creating a whole one-party regime with its own flag and this really mysterious leader who appears on TV screens and buildings. But the game keeps the leader an unfleshed character, which I feel is for the better, because I just look at this guy and think, who is this guy? He's bald, he's evil, is he controlling me or am I controlling him?
Replayability.
Well, there isn't a great deal of replay value. The terrible gameplay and sheer difficulty and boringness will deter you from starting a new city when you finish one, but to the game's credit there is an unlimited simoleons mode which gets rid of most of your problems, but I still feel it's boring since all the challenge goes away. The scenario mode is way too hard, and I don't even know why this game bothered with multiple difficulty levels for the main game modes, since the initial difficulty is so goddamn hard. Also, I'm blurring the rules here by not putting this in the gameplay section, but I punished the score for this too. There is no God mode. My favourite part of SimCity 3004 was terraforming city to my liking before setting up shop, and in SimCity 4 I also love region mode, which let me look at the bigger picture and create a whole series of interlocking cities where I could create my own personal amazing world. Here, it's an isolated city no god mode, and if you want to terraform, yeah, do it before the city with freaking sliders. This is not The Sims 3. This is SimCity, where I should be able to make my own world to my very own picky standards and not have the game interpret it through bloody sliders. The game doesn't offer achievements, and in the vanilla game they are achievable. They do take a lifetime to earn, but the special buildings promised by them is a lie. You get a shitty statue to place in your future cities, no super cool mega building, a sucky trophy for your 5 hours of time devoted to one freaking hellhole of a city. What's worse is, in the Destinations expansion pack, some of these achievements are nearly impossible to obtain given the awful gameplay and dumb way the tourism market in this game works. I'm glad I don't have to play this game again.
So there you have it. Probably the worst SimCity game ever. It is, well, it sucks. I'm glad now I'm reviewing this game, I never have to play it again, and I'm going to do another review of another EA game I particularly... Well, this EA game I like. I'm not doing it now, I'm going to do it later in the future, but it is pretty damn good, in my opinion, but it's not... It's average, but good. So, I'll do that probably in the next few months. I've got a lot going on right now with exams, and I'm moving out of this place soon, but yeah. Also, I guess this is a chance to just quickly do news on the channel. Yeah, I'm doing Far Cry, yeah, I'm doing Mountain Blade Warband, but also I have a Minecraft series coming up. It's going to be with my fellow gamer, TheUnluckyGama, and it will be very interesting. And also, I would like to do a little shout out to the Gamerleader. Type his name into YouTube. He is doing Dishonored, Bioshock 2, and Far Cry as well. I like this guy. He really helps small YouTubers like me. He's given me and my friend a shout out, and he's just an all round good guy. He does great commentary. He does great gameplay. Check him out. Let's see if we can get him up to 400 subscribers. Goodbye. And here is also the final score.